All right, everybody, we are live. Happy Monday.
Mm.
Thanks for being with me, Twera.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Rada. It's good to see you. So, I'm just gonna. Oh, Karen. Hi, Karen. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome to another episode of Leading Through the Cracks. Oh, thank you, Rada. Welcome to another episode of Leading Through the Cracks, where we have real stories, whole women, and transformative leadership. So, we've had some really amazing conversations the past few weeks, and this week will be no different. And I have Dr. Tawera with me again. And those of you that may have heard her with me last time, you know that we had it all planned out. We were like, oh, Tware has to come back and we're going to do part two and we're going to talk about belonging and all the things that you need to keep in mind with belonging, right?
Mhm.
Well, surprise, we're not talking about that. We decided to do a little pivot. And today we are talking about purpose,
Mm.
vision, the power of carrying the momentum of following through with a specific goal, purpose, idea, and the power of pausing and reflecting in that. And what can happen if you don't take that time. So, typically, what happens on these Monday conversations is you'll see me come on here and I am interviewing a lovely woman and she's sharing her story, and we're just having deep, wonderful conversation. We are turning the tables today, and my dear friend Tawera is actually going to interview me, and she is going to um, talk to me about some things that I have completed recently, the overall vision that I have. And so, first, before I go into that, let me tell you how this came about. Tawera is also a coach. Okay. I'm a coach. Tawera is a coach. We are very dear friends. We have been friends for a very long time.
Mm.
And I had just completed a project, and Tawera participated in that project. And at the end, she sends me this text message with all these questions. So, Nicole, what did you learn about yourself? How did it feel? Where are you now? What would you like to I don't even know all the questions she named. And I said to her, "Oh, Tara, I'm going to answer the questions. I'm going to answer them." I never answered the questions, y'all. I never answered them. And so as I was pausing one day, as I often do, I said, "You know what? I need to answer Twara's questions, but how powerful would it be for
Mm.
us to use this as an example of what we need to make sure we're doing as women,
Yeah.
when women in business, women in leadership, women who are, have a vision, purpose, goal that we're going after. And sometimes life can get so fast and so busy that we don't take time to reflect. So we decided to do it live in front of you. So Twara is actually going to coach me,
Mm.
and we will just see where the conversation leads. All
Absolutely.
right. All right. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Dr. T.
Well, thank you, Dr. Nick. What a pleasure to be coaching you, especially on the heels of having completed your 10-day pause journey. And you set it up so beautifully because once you were done, I began thinking, I'm like, I wonder how Nicole feels about what she's done. And the reason why I was so intentional about asking you those questions is we never take time to pause and to reflect on things that we do. So what normally happens is we jump to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing without learning the lessons from the first thing that we began. So my intention really coming alongside this great work that you have done and great conversations, transformative. Kudos to you for even creating this platform for us. But I wanted just to dig deep and just ask you how this whole experience was. So let's just start there.
Okay.
How 10 days is done. You've done all this great work. You've taken us along this journey.
Mhm.
And now we've hit pause and we're reflecting on what you've done. Help me understand what it is that you were able to recognize about yourself in that moment.
Mm. Okay. If I may, before I answer that question, I
Sure.
just want to describe what it was for anybody who may not have been a part of it and they don't know what we're talking about. So, I recently created a challenge called Sip from the Well 10 Days of Pause. And it was a live, I created, I did a live video every day of the 10 days. It had a workbook to go with it. And so women were going through watching the video, doing the workbook, and then at the end, we did a live session. People were able to reflect, and it was all about being able to prioritize yourself, sipping from the well, 10 days of pause, prioritizing, pausing, reflecting, self care, all the things. Okay. So, what did I learn about myself through that process? Um, I think I learned that I have way more to say than I
Mm.
thought I had to say.
Okay.
Like, I had way more to say. I had way more to offer than I
Mm.
thought I had to offer. Um, because I could have kept going. Like with the 10
Mm.
days, I could have kept going and kept going and kept going. Had way more to say. I also think that, and a few people commented on this throughout, which was how much I've grown over the years.
Mm.
In the clarity of my message and in um the authority that I spoke with.
Mm.
And I honestly I didn't recognize it as I was recording the videos. It happened as I was editing them when I'm hearing myself back. And I was like, "Oh, wow, that sounds really good.
Mm.
Oh, wow. I said that?" And so it
Wow.
kind of gave me I guess it was like an affirmation or validation of my journey, my progress, my growth.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
It's interesting. What kind of stood out for me in your statement is hearing myself.
Mhm.
There was that aspect of you're giving out, but you took the time to hear yourself and realize that there was growth happening in hearing yourself. Why do you think that was critical in just hearing yourself in those moments?
I think partly because we get so busy, we don't we don't necessarily hear ourselves in
Mm.
that way.
Yeah.
We hear ourselves in those internal voices, those tapes, those narratives that we speak. Like Rada's on here and she's the affirmation lady. She loves affirmations and so she knows the importance of what we speak to ourselves.
Mm.
Um but often what we speak to ourselves is not positive. We can spot our deficiencies, we can spot our limitations, we can spot our mistakes,
Mm.
we can spot our weaknesses. But I don't know that we often practice spotting our growth,
Mm.
uh,
Mm.
our strengths,
Mm.
um, the authority that we have, the how the experience that we have shaped us, the experiences that we have had have shaped us,
Yeah.
grown us. And I think as I was listening back, editing the videos, it became very clear to me how much I had grown
Yeah.
and how different experiences that I've had have really shaped my voice, my message
Yeah.
to other people.
Most of the times, going back to what you said, Nicole, is we're also open to hearing other voices, other people's voices, right? So we defer to others as the experts. Nothing wrong with that because they are experts. But there's something to be said about hearing your voice and realizing that you also have that authority to speak into those issues. So what I'm hearing from you is on this journey, you took the time to listen to Nicole and realize that there is a certain level of authority that she has that she can bring to the conversation
Mm,
and even challenge that inner critic that might tell her,
mhm,
you are not an expert in this area. The audacity you have to even speak in this area. So
mhm.
help me walk that journey with you. Help me get into that mindset of Nicole, where maybe that inner critic was, Nicole,
Mhm.
how dare you to even come on this platform and begin to think you're an authority and share all this knowledge? How were you able to quiet that inner critic and let that experience speak instead?
Yeah. Well, you know, I often say that God has to trick me because if he tells me, this is what you're going to do, this is what it's going to look like, and it's good, I'm like, no, I can't do that.
Mm,
I'm not ready for that yet. But if it starts off as just a little like, oh, why don't you, why don't you share with them some examples of how they can pause?
mm,
Right? Because I had no intention, honestly, I had no intention of doing a video. That wasn't what I was gonna do. It just started off as, like, this little small idea of, like, "Oh, you could you could you could explain, like, 10 days of pausing to people."
okay.
And slowly, as I began to share my idea and as I began to kind of pause and reflect on it, is when it started to go, develop.
Mm,
And there was another friend who I just kind of briefly shared, "Oh, I want to do these 10 days." She's like, "What if you made it into an experience?" And I'm like, "An experience? What's that mean?" And so then I sat with that and then it kind of like, developed and developed and developed. And I have to say this, I'm remembering now what happened. I was the time leading up to the 10 days of pause, which was October 1st through October 10th. So the whole month of September, I was really kind of planning this out. What is it going to look like? How am I going to do this? And I remember I had started scheduling social media posts to go out to kind of talk about the 10 days of pause. And I had it all planned out. And I started in Instagram, I remember I started scheduling them. Well, one day after I had scheduled, I would say almost the whole month of September,
okay.
everything disappeared. And I
Mm,
was like, like
mm,
panic. I'm upset. I'm like, oh my gosh, I spent so much time scheduling these posts. And I
mm,
remember as I sat and calmed myself down, I had another idea of how to create the post that was a
okay.
little more interactive, a little more creative than what I had already done, even though what I had already done was good.
Okay.
And so I started with this new idea, this more like creative, more interactive idea for 2 days. 2 days
Mhm,
later, everything came back. I don't know what happened, but all the posts came back. So now I
yeah,
have double the amount of content and double, like, so
mm,
it was like, I never would have done the more creative idea if all my stuff hadn't disappeared. One, never
yeah,
would have done it. Then I also, as that happened, more ideas started to come. More like it became more expansive because I said yes to the first little idea, and then I
okay.
shared it out, and someone gave me some feedback back. Everything started expanding, and then because I didn't like panic and stop everything
Mm,
when everything disappeared, it became more expansive. I kinda leaned into that, "Okay, that's gone, so what am I gonna do now?" And, allowing for more ideas to come into my mind. I do it,
mhm.
they're magically back. Now I have double the content, and so it kind of happens. I mean, I don't know if it happens for other people like that, but I call it God tricking me. I mean, I'm sure I don't know what he would call it, but I'm like, "God tricked me. He tricked me."
So the trickery, if we can use that phrase, the phrase, the trickery from God is what helped you overcome some of those maybe self-doubts for you then to continue on this path? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, yeah, and I think too because, I really believe in divine inspiration, divine
Mm,
downloads, and I think that I like to believe that this is my purpose that I'm
yeah,
walking in, and so God definitely is a part of it.
mm,
So he also knows me. And he knows how I operate, and he
yeah,
knows, my fears, my insecurities, my hangups, my, all the things. And so, like, for example, even with this platform that we're on today, Leading Through the Cracks, that started because I was like, oh, I just want to talk to my friends. I have amazing friends. I'm just going to interview a
mm,
few of them. Okay, well, that was August 11th. I've been on here every Monday since then, and the
mm,
ideas continue to expand. Everything about this, like all the plans that I have for this for
yeah,
2026, continue to expand. They continue to increase. And it's because I said yes
yeah,
to the small idea that I thought was kind of just, oh, I'm just hanging out with my friends talking. It's way more than that, right? It's
yeah,
become way more than that.
coming from the faith perspective, what I'm hearing, Nicole, is it's like as small as a mustard seed, right? Like this idea that you have, and you're betting on what you believe God is telling you to do,
Mhm.
and you take that initial step. What I also heard though is you were willing to share that with a few other friends, and they were able to give you feedback. And in you doing that, you began to see, the dominoes of where we are right now. For someone who is maybe fearful
Mhm.
of stepping out because we want everything to be so perfect, even you saying you lost your material and you did not allow that to force you to panic, but it's almost you invited that, that, a disruption to be part of this journey. How do you encourage someone who is having these ideas based on your journey to give them permission to step out?
Mm. Wow. Everything that I have ever attempted to do
Mhm,
that has been the most impactful to other people. And I know, and I consider it impactful from the feedback that I've gotten from other people, that those things have started as extremely imperfect.
mm,
They've started as, I know, and I understand from the idea of a person who loves organization, who loves systems, who loves, my doctorate is in strategic leadership foresight. So I understand
mm,
that whole, I want to have it laid out. I get that. But the most impactful things that I have done as a coach, as a therapist, just in my community have been these little inklings of an idea that I
mm.
had no clue what it would turn into,
Okay.
but it just took saying yes to that
Mm,
thing and being okay with, I don't know what this is going to look like. I don't know
mm.
what this is going to be. And then as I say yes, I get the next step. And sometimes you get more than one step and sometimes
Yeah.
you don't. Sometimes you have the whole picture. And then once you're in it, everything changes.
Oh,
And you have to be okay with that because the thing is, like, it's not actually about us. It's not
yeah.
about you. It's not about me.
Mm,
I mean, yes, I'm sharing of my experiences, of my
yeah.
stories, from the skills that I have, my education, but it's all to impact other people.
Yeah.
Right? It's all to impact the people that I feel called to impact. So if you feel called to impact a certain group of people or,
Yeah.
a certain cause, a certain, mission, vision, purpose, remember that it's not about you. There's a
Mm,
reason why that desire is in your heart and in your spirit. And it's usually connected to a people group
mm.
that is waiting for your message, for your word, for your obedience, for your yes, for your
Yeah.
surrender.
Yeah.
And so when we get held up in the idea of something needs to be perfect, we need to have it all laid out, um, we could be holding up our own progress, right? Because what if I had said, well, I don't know what the 10 days of pause is supposed to look like?
Mm.
What if I don't know who's going to come? Who wants to come listen to me for 10 days on these videos?
Yeah.
If I had listened to any of that doubt, fear,
Mm.
insecurity, then the people who have given me the feedback on that would have not heard my voice.
Mm.
Uh, They would have not been encouraged the way I encouraged them.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that someone else can't reach them, but I do believe that we're given the opportunity to reach a specific group of people that are called to hear our voice,
Yeah.
the way that message has been crafted in us.
Mm.
And so you are the only one who can do that because
Yeah.
you're only you. I'm the only me. So
Yeah.
I don't, it's like, I think that's another fear that people have sometimes is like, well, everybody else is talking about this too. Everybody else coaches on this also.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a wholeness coach. I'm a life purpose strategist. I help people figure out their direction, get clarity,
Yeah.
um, grow in their confidence and have clear strategy of how they want to go after their goals, their vision,
Mm.
their mission. A lot of people do that, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people do
Absolutely.
that,
Absolutely.
but no one does it like me because
Mhm.
no one else is me.
It's interesting, a sidebar as we continue our conversation. I always tell people when I'm working with my clients, I always ask them, have you seen builders stop building homes?
Mm.
Have you seen car makers stop making cars? However many there are on the streets or however many homes they need to build, it's because there's a need. And each car manufacturer, each builder has a different model. And so they cannot stop building just because there are 10 other homes across the street or three other cars. It's like everyone has a specific car assigned to them. So what I'm hearing Nicole saying, even as we continue on this reflection journey, the first thing is recognizing that I have a call. Like my calling is to specific people, examining that inner critic that might tell you, nah, you don't have it. Nah, you know, and walking through that journey to challenge those assumptions that are telling you you don't have what it takes. For someone then who is waiting for that perfection, like you said, where we're just waiting until everything is kind of fitting correctly, how do you reframe or how do you frame a message to someone still struggling to say, I hear you, Nicole. I saw you succeed on this, but I'm not there yet. How do you help them frame what it is they're communicating with us? That if we don't use our voice, we are depriving people of maybe answers that we have. How do you frame that conversation with them?
Um, I think it's important to have people understand their why, number
Mm.
one.
Mm.
Like we can we can have a vision, we can have a purpose, we can have people that we're called to, but why? Why?
Mm.
Why are you being called specifically?
Mm.
Why? How? And I like to ask the question of my clients, what will change? What will happen if you don't say yes?
Yeah.
What will happen?
Yeah.
And what will happen if you do? Like what will it look like?
Yeah.
I also like to address, if they say I'm not there yet, I'm not ready, I'm like, how do you know you're not ready? What tells you that you aren't ready? And
Mm.
whatever the responses they give to that, then we kind of can dig into that a little bit deeper
Okay.
of, w- what are some of those reasons why you don't feel ready?
Mm.
Um, another thing is what would it look like if you were ready? How would it feel if you were
Mm.
ready? Let's
Mm.
talk about that because I think that we don't pause to think
Yeah.
about these things. We just say it. I'm
Yeah.
not ready. I can't do that yet. Okay, tell me more about that. What
Mm.
what is the reason why you can't? Tell
Yeah.
me tell me more. Because as you start to unpack those things, you can start it starts to feel less scary as you talk about it. And then you're like,
Absolutely.
"Oh, well, I maybe could do this little step right here." Or, "Oh, I maybe could research this over here." You
Yeah.
know? But because it's all in our head, and often the people who I work with often are entrepreneurs
Okay.
or moms. I work with a
Mm.
lot of moms, and they are in silos because they're home, or in some type of remote work of some sort. And
Mm.
so they're not necessarily brushing up against people often, and their ideas remain in their head.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when your ideas remain in your head like that, as we talked about in the beginning, you can talk yourself out of anything.
That part.
Right.
So
Exactly.
the framing for you, for that, to them or to us, is challenging those assumptions and really digging deep and
Mhm,
asking, why do you think you're not ready?
mhm,
And so it forces them to begin to really look at those excuses sometimes,
mhm,
that when you look at them holistically, you think, come on, I can do this.
mhm,
And that's the platform that you've been providing for all of us. I think on one of my text messages to you, I shared with you, I was like, you have inspired me to really even go deeper with the work that I'm doing, because not that I cannot do it, but when you see others do it,
mm,
you also get that strength to do it. So I want to give you your flowers in this moment as we take a pause here, to say thank you for showing us how it can be done, right? It's that, yes, it's that community. It's that idea of challenging those things that are telling you you cannot. And as you were speaking, Nicole, I thought about the story of the talents, where one was given five, one was given two, one was given one. And the only reason why the person who was given one did not execute was because they were afraid. And what I'm hearing Nicole telling us in this moment is, hey, you can be fearful, but don't let that fear stop you. Push through, because your why is the reason why you should do what it is that you're doing.
mhm,
So thank you for that. I'm curious for you, Nicole, even as you've been doing these conversations with the ladies, as you finish the 10-day of pause, take me into the space of how you learned something about Nicole that you did not know you had before. I know you talked about listening to yourself
mhm.
and hearing yourself grow, but when we're doing the edits, what else did Nicole discover about herself? What did she learn about herself? And she's learning about herself in this season.
Mm. Um, let's see. I think my immediate response to that is how all of the pieces of my life that
Mm,
I thought maybe were disconnected, they didn't make sense together necessarily.
mm.
Um, they all go together and they
Oh,
all
wow.
speak to this, uh, well, really the woman that I have become and still
Mm,
becoming,
mm.
but also like I have a friend who has a publishing company,
Okay.
and in that publishing company, her book is called "What's Your Story?" Like,
Mm,
and it's called like learning the power of your story to create wealth or something to that effect.
okay.
And what I've learned about myself is that every single piece of my life is one story.
Mm,
Nicole, it's one story
mm,
that is intentional. Everything that happened, everything that I did, everything that I experienced that seemed so disconnected, that seemed like, Nicole, why are you even doing this over here? Like, this doesn't
yeah,
even make sense. All of it shaped who I am and shaped the message that I bring to women of you are worthy, you are valuable, you
yeah,
are enough. You're not too much. Nothing is wasted.
mm,
I think that's one of the major things that I've learned about my life. Like, and I say that nothing is wasted, nothing is wasted. But when you actually take your life
mm,
and use your life to teach, I use that's at the heart of what I do. I use stories from my life to teach as
yeah,
examples. That is what I learned is that nothing is wasted.
mm,
Every experience, there's gold there. There's gold
yeah,
that can come out of it. And I think to where another aspect of what I've learned is that I I move too fast sometimes. I think I knew that already, but when you go through these when you have ideas and projects and, things that you're trying to
mm,
put forward, you begin to recognize even further, deeper, how much how quickly we move past things. And the
mm,
example of that I have specifically with the 10 days of pause is when I started the 10 days of pause, my
mhm,
brain, because remember, I talked about my degree is in strategic leadership foresight. So I'm
yeah,
always looking ahead
yeah,
at what can I do? How can how can I expand upon this? Right.
yeah,
So when I started the challenge with the 10 days of pause, I'm already like, what's next?
mm,
Where am I leading people? How am I helping them next? And as I got to maybe like day 2 or 3,
mhm,
very early in the 10 days, I was like,
mhm,
oh, I have to go deeper in this. Like it's not over. The 10 days of pause is not over. Just this format is over, right?
mm,
Just this creation that I did. But now I can go deeper into this idea.
okay,
So there's a workbook coming. There's, like how can I dive deeply
mm,
into this idea and not rush on
yeah,
to whatever it could be a whole different I knowing me, it could be a whole different a whole different thing we're talking about, right?
yeah, yeah,
But it's like I want to get the most out of this. I want
yeah,
to take people deeper because I think just with us, with me, with women
mhm,
in general, we move fast and we're
yeah,
like, "Oh yeah, let me go through this. Okay, I did that. Let me go through this. I did that." And I'm like, "No, no, we're going to sit right here. We're going
yeah,
to pause and we're going to see what else is in this for us." You know?
absolutely. Trust in the process. Trust
Yeah.
in the process. I'm recalling a conversation I had, Nicole, with a client last week, and she reminded me of you in this moment where she creates systems, right? Like she knows that the systems are going to work, but because she's a creative and she's always thinking in the future, at some point she gets bored. So she wants to try something new.
Mhm.
And that then becomes a challenge because time is being mismanaged in that moment.
Mhm.
So what I'm hearing you explain to us is we can have this calling, this dream, and we can want to rush to the end.
Mhm.
But if we stop, be in the moment, there's more gold to be dug in that moment that you can even provide for others before you rush the process.
Yes.
And so Nicole learned to pause. But what's so interesting, though, Nicole, is even to challenge what you were taught. Foresight, strategic foresight, like you're always thinking in the future, but
Mhm.
you almost had to challenge even what you were taught to be in the moment and think of what this moment could still provide for your listeners.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic
Yeah.
of um remaining in the moment, also strategically thinking ahead.
Mm,
So I would say it's not that I'm no longer strategically thinking ahead.
mm,
It's that I'm strategically thinking ahead on what I'm focused on in the moment.
love that.
Because typically, as you use the example of the client you were working with who was a creative, which I am as well, and I we tend to jump. We tend to, oh, like, oh, I need to paint this or I need to write this or I need to, and which I love. Like,
Yeah.
I love all of the ideas and the creativity, but the challenge that I've had with that over the last 20 years is that it's not cohesive, and I
Mm,
can't present it to someone in a way that's helpful to them
mm,
in a consistent, impactful way. It's like
yes.
spurts. When you do
Mm,
that, when you jump, it's impactful in spurts, and you can't scale that,
mm,
right? You can't go deep in that. But if I take the 10 days of pause
yeah.
and I go deep and think strategically about
Yeah.
that one thing.
Yeah.
I think strategically about that. Then I can go deep.
Yeah.
Then I can have that lasting impact. And it's not
Mm,
that these other things are lost, because that's another thing that mm. So another thing that I have learned or that came out of, I guess, this experience
yeah.
is um, the way that I connected with other women who have skills that I need.
Come on.
Right? There's some things that I'm just, even though I am pretty awesome at certain things, there are some things that it's just a struggle for me.
Mm,
And as women listen to me and share their stories with me, I'm like, oh, she has something
yeah.
that I need.
Yeah.
She can help me. Like, I'm helping her, but she can help me.
Yeah.
And so I think the the pause or the reflection, the lesson in it, in gathering women to kind of teach them and encourage them, has been the power of community
Wow.
and collaboration.
Yeah.
Community and collaboration, because there's one girl in particular that I'm thinking of that has really engaged with my content, and
Mm,
she's amazing, and she told me how inspired she was by these Monday conversations, by things that I have written, by
yeah.
being a part of the 10 days of pause.
Yeah.
But in that, I now am able to look at her and be like, I'm so glad you were inspired to do this, to create this idea that is now helping me. Like,
Mm,
that's something that happened. She created something because of listening to me, that thing that she has created is now literally saving me. Like,
and imagine, Nicole, if you had not stepped out
mhm,
and do the 10-day pause or have these conversations.
mhm,
It goes back to the question you initially asked. What happens if you don't step out to do what you need to do? How many people are you depriving of your gift for them to also activate what is in them? Because it's an ecosystem. Like we are all connected in some form or fashion.
mhm.
So if we don't step into our rightful position, however scary it is, we're affecting so many other lives. Got a couple more questions for you as we are about to land this plane. What are you envisioning in the new season now? I know we've done the 10 days of pause. Your calendar is full for the rest of the year.
Mhm.
What are you envisioning? What does future Nicole with what it is that she's doing looks like?
Okay. Well, um, so this Monday conversation that is leading through the cracks, um, that is going to be expanded. There's so many, y'all know I love to talk. I could talk to y'all all day. Okay. So
We love
that's
hearing you talk. Because you talk with you talk with life. You just don't talk to talk. Whenever you talk, you're bringing something to the table. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
thank you. Appreciate
Yeah.
that. But yeah, so this is going to expand. Um, there's actually going to be again, okay, here's an example of me not having the whole picture, right? I can't tell you in detail because I don't know. But what I do know is that there's going to be more a variety of messages, a variety of ways that these conversations are happening. So the Monday conversation will stay consistent. I'll be here every Monday. It will be exactly as it looks. But there are other things that I'm adding in,
Mm,
um, different types. One of them I do know is called powerful. What did I call it? See, I don't even know. I called it uh, powerful pause moments or something like
mm,
that, and they're short snippets.
okay.
So, this is a full conversation. Those will be like short snippets that
Okay.
come out all the time, and it'll just be audio. So different things like that are
Okay.
coming. Um, with the 10 days of pause, every day there was a video, and then the workbook came with that video.
Mhm.
I'm going to turn that workbook into an actual book.
Awesome.
So
Wow.
that's coming. That's
Yeah.
exciting. That's really exciting. Um, let's see. And out of the 10 days of pause,
Mm,
one of the days in there, I was talking to the women about um, setting goals and how in my work as a coach, I find that people don't actually know how to set goals.
mm,
Um, they say this is my goal, but then when I ask them about it, it's not very clear.
okay.
It's not something that they can actually grab hold of. Therefore, they're never reaching it. They're
Yeah.
always missing the mark because they didn't actually create a mark to reach.
Yeah.
And so I'm having a workshop coming
Okay.
up. It's called the Shift Well Life Mapping Workshop.
Oh, love
So
it.
we're going to, yes. And shift is my word, shift.
Absolutely.
Shift is along with pause, shift is
Yeah.
another one of my words, and it's called shift well because we want to shift
Mhm.
well in our lives into the position that we need to be in. And in order
Mm,
to do that, there's certain strategic things that we need to do, mapping out our course, mapping out our life, which is why it's called the Life Mapping Workshop. So, that is coming actually in December. So, I posted about it. Probably when you leave this conversation, you should be able to see the post about it,
okay.
with the way to register. It's already up and set. So,
Awesome.
it's a 2-day workshop,
Okay.
and um, we're gonna. It's so not only is it a 2-day workshop, but there's also going to be um, a, an aspect of it where you get continued support from me
Mm,
through the end of the year
okay.
through an app because that's important. Like we go through these trainings and workshops and things, and it can be a lot at one
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And then as you're trying to implement it, you're like, oh, I wish I could ask for this, or I wish I could
Exactly.
ask for that. So
Yeah.
that's going to be a part of this workshop.
The
So,
accountability part of it.
mhm,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's going to happen. Um, It's a Wednesday and Thursday night.
Okay.
Um, I don't wanna say the dates because I don't even remember myself. It's December something.
No problem.
Um,
At least we know what you're envisioning, and we are part of this process as well. So
Yes,
we'll
yes,
definitely look at it. Yes.
yes, but it's in there. Yeah.
Okay. Two more questions for you. What
Mhm.
is Nicole committing to in this season?
I am committing to getting um, my systems in order. I
Okay.
have to. And what I mean by that is my communication systems, my emailing, my scheduling, my all of the back end things that can
Mm,
sometimes stop entrepreneurs from being able to expand and grow.
yeah. Yeah.
Those are the things I'm committing to because there's so many things I wanna do, so many people that I wanna help, and it's really important to me that the process is seamless
Mm,
for them
them. Okay.
and myself, right? I don't wanna drive myself crazy,
Yeah.
so that's really important to me, committing to the systems, getting my systems in place, and then the other thing is committing to pausing this process that we're doing right now,
Mhm.
committing to pausing and reflecting. So anything that I say I'm creating, whether it's a workshop, an event, writing a book, individual coaching sessions, really committing to drilling down on those
Mhm.
things and
Mm,
like making them as clear as possible, as deep as possible, as targeted as possible, so that
yeah.
they can have the most impact for the
Mm,
people who take part.
awesome. Awesome.
Mhm.
What is Nicole thankful for in this season?
Oh my gosh. Um, I'm thankful for my community,
Mm,
friends. Um, it has been, oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. I told you, I think I said last week I was gonna cry, and I did so well until right now. But my friends and colleagues have been so instrumental in shaping the person that I am, in shaping even my business, the way I operate in business. Their questions of me, their support of me, their
mm,
feedback that they give me has been amazing. Um, I'm also really thankful for Substack actually because um, it's a very interesting platform
mm,
that um, has connected me with some beautiful, amazing people
yeah.
that I never would have connected with had it not been for Substack. And it's a social media platform, but it's so different
Yeah.
than other social media platforms. And I feel like the people that I've connected with, I've been able to connect at such a deeper level than
Mm,
I than if I just met someone on Instagram. I mean,
mm,
I believe it can happen in those places too, but it's
yeah.
just that it happens so organically and so
Yeah.
quick
Yeah.
on Substack. And
Yeah.
so I'm really grateful for the community that I'm building here, for the people that I've connected with. Um, and I think too, just my relationship with the Lord has
Yeah.
obviously shapes who I am as a
Mm,
coach, as a woman,
mm,
the things that I speak about, um, and just honestly health.
yeah.
I am thankful. I'm thankful for um, just being in health and being able to do the things that I feel called to do.
Yeah. I'm thankful that you, again, not to sound redundant, were willing to take that yes and create this platform for us.
Mhm.
In reflecting this journey, I wanted to use the word reflect to help us unpack what this was like for you. You were able to recognize the why of what you're doing, right? You were able to examine those fears that sometimes can sabotage you, but you were willing to let the why be the reason why you're doing what you're doing. You allowed yourself to frame this calling, understanding that there are people out there that need Nicole and the message that she's bringing, right? There was something about you learning about yourself in this season. What are the gifts that I have? What are the things that I can still bring to the table? What are some of the things that maybe could have hindered me? So the learning of Nicole. We also looked at what you're envisioning,
Mm.
right? What is Nicole envisioning? Where is she taking us to in this moment? What is Nicole committing to in light of her calling? And what is Nicole thankful for? And this is how I do my reflections. I use the word reflect to reflect, and I wanted to use this, framework for us as well. And it's just so beautiful just to see how you've been able to connect all the dots. There are so many things we could have unpacked,
Mhm.
because listen, you are such a rich um wealth of information and even just your story. But I want to be respectful of the time that we have. But thank you though, again, for just allowing us to be part of your reflection. And I know I don't only speak for myself, but from the ladies that have come alongside you, that we are with you all the way. That what you have created is needed for this season, and we will support you through and through. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chawera. Thank you so much.
Mm,
I appreciate you so much for um, pivoting with me and doing this reflection this week. And for those of you that joined in kind of towards the middle or towards the end, um, this was a reflection time of my vision and my journey and where I've been, how I've taken ideas and moved forward with them, and then kind of like the thought process of what I have learned
mm,
and how I carry that with me in the future. And the reason why I decided it was important to do this in front of y'all is because it's really an example of something that we need to cultivate for ourselves as women. We need to take these times to really reflect and think about where we've been,
mm,
where we are, where we're going, what we're learning along the journey. Um, and honestly, we don't take time to do that very
mm,
often. And from my platform, that's something that I'm encouraging. Those of you that are familiar with me, I'm always talking about the power of the pause. And this is one of
mm,
those pause moments that it was very intentional
mm,
and had a deep purpose of learning and growth and just that space of gratitude
mm,
too, because it's not just about, it doesn't always, I mean, what we've learned is important and how we grow is important, but also just taking the moment to just be and just recognize the goodness,
mm,
and be grateful and be in that place of gratitude, because gratitude is something that expands us,
mm,
and it allows for creative dimension, creative possibility when we stay in a place of gratitude. So thank you
mm.
for that question. Even though it brought me to tears, y'all know I am a crier, so I will cry. But
It's
tears are
welcome.
healing and
Yeah.
tears are freeing and cleansing. And so I thank you guys for being here and watching, and I hope I my hope is that you're inspired
Mm,
by the conversation, that you're
mm,
inspired to take moments of pause for yourself,
mm,
whether it's with a friend or, a coworker, or a family, whoever is your trusted
yeah.
space, that you begin to implement these moments of reflection as you move forward. And if you don't have anybody and you want to come to the Shift Well life mapping workshop where we're going to go into this stuff even deeper, please join me.
Yeah.
Join me for that. Like I said, if you are subscribed to me, the email went out today, and I'll post about it in notes, and I'll send more emails out about it throughout this month because the workshop is not happening until December. So, and it's going to be fun. Like, it's gonna be fun because I think I'm fun, but
You are.
but thank
You're
you.
welcome.
But yeah, it's gonna be fun, and we're
Mm,
going to just set ourselves up well for 2026,
yeah.
and you know, it's it's gonna be great. So
Yeah.
join me for that. Hey, Lisa, it's good to see you. And Letitia, hey, and Dr. Sheba, you guys, I'm so happy that you're here. Um, Tawera, Thank you again for being with me,
Mhm.
my dear sister, friend for decades. Friend for decades. Is there any last um, words of encouragement
Mhm.
or anything that you want to say about how people can connect with you and your services? Anything at all to wrap us up?
I'll start with how they can connect with me and then, end with maybe just a word of encouragement. So my email is coachtl@outlook.com. So I'm a leadership coach, career coach, personal coach as well. So I work with ladies, even men, but my heart is towards ladies. So if you want to connect, get to know more about me, feel free to email me and I'll share more about myself. In terms of just parting words, I love your audacity, Nicole. I love the fact that you don't let external things come in the way of what it is that you believe God is telling you to do. If there's one thing that I have gotten from this conversation, amongst many other things, is the willingness to step out and not wait for everything to be perfect because it will never be the case. But as you step out, those waters begin to part, the path begins to get clearer, and you begin to see the complete vision. For every lady who's listening now and who'll listen later, let's take a page from Nicole's life
Mm.
and not be fearful. I mean, fear and action can coexist, but let that fear be the fuel for you to do what it is that God is calling you in this season. Because if we do not step into our respective lanes, we are depriving other ladies of who they can become and what they can do for other ladies. Don't be afraid to evolve. Nicole, again, is the perfect example of a woman I've seen over the years, decades, who is willing to continue to step up, step out, step up, step out. And because of her, I'm motivated to continue producing my podcast because I'm like, listen, Nicole is doing it. I'm going to do it as well. Community. So don't sit on the sidelines. Get in the game that God has called you to play, and ensure that you do it, knowing that you are a game changer for the lives of others.
Mm,
That's it.
that is beautiful. And my last parting word is this to where it is said, do not allow fear to keep you from stepping out and depriving other people that you are called to of your wisdom, of your voice, of your
Mhm.
experience. And I would just want to say, as you step out and you share or create whatever it is that you are called to create in the spaces that you are called to be in, healing can come to you as well. You grow and you heal as you move.
Amen.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the timing that you are supposed to move. So you got this. You can do it. And I love you. And I will see you all next Monday. Thank you so much for being with me today. Bye,
Thank you,
ladies.
Nicole. Bye bye.